InObscuria!
Welcome back, my friends, to the InObscuria Podcast, a podcast where we exhume obscure rock and punk and metal. And we put them in one of three categories: the lost, the forgotten, or the should-have-beens. My name, after that, I don't know what my name is. We'll go with Kevin Williams and that over there. It is Pepe Apollo once again.
Yes. The one and only Pepe.
Pepe
It's
Apollo.
Pepe. It's the second one is accent. Pepe Apollo.
And what have you been up to this week, Pepe?
Landscaping. Good God Almighty.
That's what every good porn star calls it.
Manscaping. Not manscaping, but actual landscaping. I think we mentioned the firehouse is going to be on the Fancy Garden Tour next month. So I've been racing, trying to do a bunch of stuff. And I spent all weekend shoveling gravel, planting trees. And of all things, I am, honest to goodness, an official redneck because I forgot to put sunscreen on the back of my neck. And it hurts.
I don't think that's all it took.
It was just
I think you were already there.
It was the final
I'm
straw.
just saying.
It was the literal meaning of redneck. I am that now. Before that, I was just the metaphorical redneck. And
I see.
It has come to fruition that I actually have a very red neck now. So every time I go to scratch it, it reminds me that it hurts like a sumbitch. So anyway, other than that, get ready to go camping. Getting the meth smell out of the camper again. It's from its former owner. I've got a meth camper.
Oh,
we go camping again.
That's always
so.
Lovely.
But it's been packed away all winter, and you open it up it still has that faint aroma of Sudafed and muriatic acid. What do they use to make meth?
Nice. All right. Well, after you're enlightened and realize you're a true redneck, go listen to Pot of Thunder, Cobras and Fire, Growing Up Rock, Slamfest Podcast, Decibel Geek, A to Z Radio, Metal Up Your Podcast, The Hustle, Disciples of the Watch, Podcast Rock City, State of Amorica, Rock Strikes 10, Potter Than Hell, Podkiss, The Kiss Room, Ages of Rock, Retro Zest Podcast, The Synaptic Empire, and don't forget about Monty's Rockcast. Come visit us, InObscuria.com. Give us a like, give us a share, recommend us, do what you will with us. Facebook, Twitter, Instagram. All right.
Yes.
Oh, go buy some shit.
Oh, yeah.
Go buy some shit.
We have merch for sale.
Yeah, we make a little
It's
scratch
over in the corner over there, just behind the bar.
Go get that.
It's in the dark part of the bar over there.
All right, now let's get into this week. I will just let you know, Robert, I did not do any tarot card readings this week.
Oh.
That's right.
That's because I participated and did some of the research. So you don't have to do as much work this week.
Yeah, well, maybe. Or maybe it was just handed to us. Let's be honest, okay?
Yeah, okay, maybe I just read.
Okay.
I read something that was on...
You read some things.
Yeah, I read some things. Let's just
All
put it
right.
that. I'll admit that.
And with that, we are going to have a special guest this week. And I always like to give some intro music, and I completely forgot to do so. But I tell you what, we're going to intro this man with the magic of the pan flute.
Accompanied by
the juice harp. Oh my God. Ladies and gentlemen, Ronnie James DOG agrees.
Yes.
We need to bring in this gentleman all the way from the Slamfest Podcast. Get him to shut up, would you? not the guy on the line. Sorry, Brad. We're going to bring in Mr. Brad Rusthoven from the Slamfest Podcast. What's up, Brad?
Kevin and Robert, what's going on?
Oh, just getting chewed up by a dog.
Yes.
Hey, he came in on cue.
It was perfect.
That was pretty
really
good.
He was in the other room and ran in here as soon as that song came on.
That is the magic of the pan flute.
Yes.
If you don't know, that was Zamfir, and I can't think of a better way to bring you in, Brad, than a little Zamfir.
With some mouth harp.
A little added.
Oh, that's great.
A little added redneck for you there with some juice on it as well. So people are probably wondering, who is this Brad? and what is this Slamfest? But we've talked to you before. We've actually talked to you at Rockin' Pod, if people go back and listen to those episodes. So how have you been since then? It's been a while.
Good. It's been a long while. Been listening to you guys every week, and just doing our thing.
So why don't you remind the listeners what Slamfest Podcast does, because you have a pretty unique slant on your podcast.
Yeah. So the way I describe it is I'm not as creative as you guys coming up with these kind of random, well, not random, you use the Ouija board, but some of these other podcasts coming up with, hey, I'm going to talk about
random ass Ouija, that's for sure.
So, there's got to be a method to my madness. I've got to have a guide or a list of some sort, and then I can get creative after I've got that in front of me. So what I've decided to do is go through my concert chronology. So every week I'm just going through, I've got all my ticket stubs. Actually, I've got all my concerts in a spreadsheet now, so I can kind of go in and see how many times have I seen this band.
Yeah, Kevin mentioned you had a spreadsheet of concerts you've been to. Yes. That's amazing.
Yes.
And when did you start this? I mean, obviously you've gone through your history of every show you've been through, and you're going pretty much chronologically unless you see a show, right?
Correct. Which again, I think this podcast lends itself to recapping real-time concerts because of the pre-gaming and the songs that get listened to during the pre-games and all that. And I don't remember what we listened to 20 years ago at whatever concert it was. So that's why I think the real-time stuff really comes across well. But so going through my chronology as kind of the baseline, and then as I see shows, I'm doing those. And so then I'm bringing in the Slamfest crew at different times and different numbers. I think I've had 3 on maybe is the max right now, but there's 7 of us total, and eventually I'll get everybody on. That'll be interesting.
And explain to us, for those who've not heard your show, explain to us what the Slamfest crew is and what it is that you guys kind of are known for doing pre-gaming.
Well, so that's what it all comes down to. And the show where we dubbed it Slamfest is actually coming up, and if I play my cards right, it's going to be the 100th episode, which wouldn't that be interesting if it lands that way? Unless I see another show and I throw off the schedule. But it's all about, it's an event. We don't just go to the show, a half hour before it starts, go into the concert and then go home. It's an all day event, which culminates in the 3+ hour pre-gaming. And the beauty of it all is the song selecting game that we've dubbed it. And some people come and just play, hey, whatever they've been listening to. Some people come up with a theme, like I usually do, come up with a theme of who I'm seeing, and we go around the bend. Nobody knows what the other person's going to play, and it's pressure's on, man. You can't have a bunch of people looking at you when you play your song. You got to know what you're doing.
What I find amusing is my favorite episodes are the ones where you guys are talking about the pre-gaming, and then it's like, oh shit, we missed the first 3 bands because we were out in the parking lot getting trashed.
So unfortunately that's happened multiple times.
So you missed Tesla and Kicks.
But you know what? Sometimes, I mean, when we're doing that, it's just, I don't know how to describe it, but we feel like we're having the most fun out of anybody in the entire lot.
When ticket prices over $100 routinely, I think you need to make a day of it, because otherwise, if you do just go to the show and leave, I don't know, that's a lot of money for that.
Yeah, but they're paying for the ticket and then they're standing in the parking lot.
Right. But, there's a fine line between clever and stupid, but
there you go, Robert. Yes. That's the ROI, right?
Yes,
it's about the return on investment.
Right. So, but the beer costs there, as long as you're bringing your cooler in, keep the costs low, you don't need to see the first couple of shows.
What I also find interesting, Brad, is, and I'll say, I don't always listen to every episode. And the reason for that is sometimes you go where I wouldn't expect you to go. I think we've had 2 Simon and Garfunkel episodes, have we not?
So we had a Paul Simon one.
I saw that too, and I was like, what?
I was like, I did not anticipate that coming my way.
That and Slamfest. Just 2 things that don't normally go on the same ticket.
So, I was going to mention that, though, when I was talking about doing it, and I was even bouncing it off the guys, I said, hey, I go out of format. I mean, hard rock and metal is in my blood, but I've seen a lot of other stuff. And I kind of was like, gosh, should I do that? Should I do bonus episodes? And I just made the decision, hey, going to include the out of format shows. And
I love it, man. There are no skippers in your life, right?
Is there going to be a Captain and Tennille?
Unfortunately,
I'll tune into that.
Well, there will not be one.
As you know, we cover the spectrum of rock, punk, and metal. I'm into most stuff. There have been a few. Like I don't know what it is about Paul Simon, but man, I just cannot do it.
Really?
It's sort of like you and Neil Young.
It's like Neil Young.
Okay, there
right?
we go.
Yeah.
He's my Neil Young. But
I love
Neil
Neil
Paul
Young.
Simon. When I learned to play guitar, it was heavily centered around folk guitar. That's kind of what you learn, finger picking, things like that. So Simon and Garfunkel was a steady, go-to, like James Taylor and stuff like that. So I guess I learned to just appreciate him more than Neil Young. I appreciate him, but don't like him. Can you do that? Is that a thing? Can you appreciate somebody and respect them, but just not like them?
You appreciate his songwriting.
Yes,
you don't want to hear him.
I don't want to hear
or
play it.
Right.
Don't sing or play.
Yeah.
Just write the stuff, hand it to somebody else.
They're
Anyway,
great. Never play them again.
Yeah,
that's kind of your thing.
Just shh. That's what I want him to do.
So we don't only just talk about the concert, because that would be about a 20-minute show. So we do a band on the bill spotlight, one of the bands, we dive into one of their albums, or we rank stuff and do different things like that. We do a Slamfest tip of the week, pre-gaming tips, right? Talk about venues that we've been to, and then at the end we close it out with a which side are you on? So we take a album by one of the bands on the bill and we put side 1 against side 2, or side 1 versus side 2 versus side 3 versus side 4, depending on the like we did with the Wall.
The Wall. I was going to say the Wall.
Pink Floyd
you got a lot of choices there.
We don't want to go
the
there.
Pink Floyd episode.
We don't want to go there. That was a tough one for Robert and I.
Yeah.
Well, some of those comments we heard, man.
Yeah.
What the hell?
No, it's a way to dig up old wounds, man. I'd repress that. A lot of therapy. God, a lot of beer.
Yeah, I love the show, man. I think it's great. It's so unique. And like I said, I don't catch everyone because sometimes there's just a band that I'm not into, but that's all right. Same thing with our show. Same thing with our show. We'll do a math rock episode. That was not a real winner, got to tell you.
5 downloads.
It was all me.
Yeah. Kevin and his daughter accidentally downloaded it.
But I really do enjoy it. And, I think it's so interesting that you have really kept a record of every show you've seen. Now, it's not just the ticket stub, because you usually give a lot of details about these shows. Like, did you keep a diary? Is that what you did? And then you put it in a spreadsheet?
No. I mean, it's a ticket stubs. And then, I would say maybe 10 years ago, I put them all into a spreadsheet. But no, it's just like date, band, venue, city.
And then you go back and do the research and it kind of jogs the memory. Is that how it works?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Got it.
Yep.
Well, that is awesome.
So far, so good. Yeah. Thank you. Thank you for your support. Appreciate it.
Yeah, absolutely. We're always talking about you. And I guess we should give a little background just really quickly on how we even met, because we talked about it at Rockin' Pod, but I think it's worth mentioning again. So you and I both met before we had podcast.
Correct. Yeah. And again, I think it goes back to the old podcast Rock City Live.
Yep.
Wednesday night show. I think we both maybe remember seeing each other's names in the comments. And then the day before we both flew out to Vegas, you were on, I think you were on it live that night. And then you and Joe Polo, I think, flew out to Vegas, right?
Yes. I babysat Joe that weekend.
And so, we met. I think, we met that night. We had dinner and then we went that first night. That was an odd night. I think it was Joe and Sonny and Steven.
I was going to say, remind me, because I don't remember.
I know you were my drinking buddy for sure for the whole weekend. But we went to Caesar. I don't know. We were just bouncing around. Then we met the contest winners. Remember? The
Australians.
The Australians.
Anywhere you go that you're drinking, you're gonna meet an Australian. I don't care where in the world you are.
It's in the Bible.
Yep. It's just the way it works. There's probably an Australian sitting right over there right now.
Yep.
If I look hard enough, I think
the bar across the street from us.
And then day of the show, right? Kiss Mini Golf, and we played golf with the Australians and drank beer.
Oh my God!
Great.
I would love to see Kiss Mini Golf.
It is really cool, but it was blacklight. Okay, so can you imagine sitting in Kiss Mini Golf for an entire day, drinking and looking at blacklight and the neon and
the fluorescent colors?
Oh my God, man, my eyes were so just messed up from that experience.
And the music was blaring, if you recall.
I didn't mind that too much. I did keep the score that we had, and I shared that with Sonny and Steve and Mike a few weeks ago, just to remind them that they got schooled. At the Kiss Mini Golf.
Them Southern boys know how to play mini golf.
Well, we were the ones drinking, you see.
You relaxed.
Yeah, that's right. We had our chi because we were drinking it.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
All right. Yep. So you came to us this week with something that you said did not fit your format and you wanted us to perhaps talk about this and you wanted to come on the show, and we said, hell yeah, come on the show and talk to us about this. So do you want to kind of lay this out for the people and then we'll get into it?
Yeah, absolutely. So, we've got episode 93 coming up on the Slamfest podcast. You guys are on like 119.
This is 120, sir.
120 for this one. Great. So over the last couple of years, I'm sure you've met people online, you've met people in person, right? Because of the podcast. And I have as well. So
real quick, hold on.
Yeah.
What is the furthest, because I know you are on the same platform as we are. So what is the furthest or the weirdest country that you've seen a listen from?
Oh, so Republic of Singapore.
Okay.
You got one of those?
I got one that's close. I have Indonesia.
Nice.
Like they're listening to us in Indonesia.
Well, we also had one from someplace called Kentucky.
We did. That was weird.
That was really weird.
That was weird.
They have radios.
And this is multiple. I got multiple downloads.
Multiple Singapore. Republic of Singapore.
Yeah.
Not just regular Singapore.
Not just regular. Yeah, Republic of Singapore.
All right. So give me your top three. Just see if it works with ours.
Well, it's probably United States.
United States.
We talked about this, Kevin, when you were on my show, I think. We talked about
I don't remember anything just like Robert.
Yeah.
So.
What?
Yeah. So United States, Germany, and Great Britain.
Okay. Interesting. So we have
pretty Anglo, except for Singapore.
We're pretty consistently United States, Australia, Canada, and then England.
Yeah.
And nice. Yeah. Nice.
Germany's fallen down a little bit.
Yeah. Step it up.
Yeah.
We need the Germans to come back to us. But anyway,
I'll send them your way.
Thank you.
Them.
All right. I completely took you off your train of thought. Go ahead.
You're good. You're good. No worries. So several months ago, I received an email from a Slamfest podcast listener from Australia about some recordings he had access to from a band that we've covered 3 times on our podcast. And
Paul Simon?
It is not Paul Simon. You'll be happy to hear.
Thank God.
But the A in the Slamfest podcast logo is from this band's logo. So obviously I'm talking about AC/DC.
Uh-oh, copyright infringement.
Yeah, they're going to come get you, man.
Yeah, you just announced it to the world.
Yes, the Thunder from Down Under. There you go.
Nice. Okay.
So I've had my brother Matt on all the AC/DC episodes because AC/DC's his band, kind of like Kiss is my band.
So you only own Kiss shirts. He only owns AC/DC shirts, right? Because
he owns more multi-band shirts than I do.
All right.
All my stuff is mostly, even though I'm wearing an AC/DC shirt right now. So
nice.
So this listener's father, I know I told you guys the story, but I'm telling your listeners now.
Yep.
This listener's father worked for Albert Productions for over 30 years.
Who are
amassed?
Because I don't think most people know who that is.
Well, yeah. So, and he had amassed a collection of tapes from various artists that signed to Albert in the 70s and 80s, including Cheetah, Rose Tattoo, Harry Vanda, The Angels, George Young, and George's brother's band, AC/DC. So he mentioned how he had come across a box of tapes recently. And initially I thought, all right, somebody's trolling. Yeah. Somebody's trolling me, or this is another podcast. Maybe this is Kevin and Robert. Maybe they're trolling me and
I wouldn't put it past me.
Yeah, I wouldn't put it past us either, but it wasn't. Okay.
So we've exchanged several emails over the last several months, and then a couple of weeks ago, he said he had found a place to bake the tapes, whatever that means. Kevin, enlighten me.
I can tell you what that means. So
what does that mean?
That means that he had old reel-to-reel tapes, and what happens is those things get really brittle. So you actually have to put them in an oven, like a special oven, so that they can be played again. Now, sometimes when you do that, it ruins them, so you get like one play. So what people do is they take these old tapes, they bake them, and then they quickly transfer them to digital. That's how they remaster, and that's how they pull up old tapes now.
Yeah, nice. Okay, so look at that lesson on baking.
You put some smarts in my head.
I would drop this mic, but it's on a stand, so.
So anyway, he transferred them to digital, and he sent me several MP3 files with some brief information about the songs. So he thought I might like to share them with our listeners, but I immediately said, this is a job for the InObscuria podcast, because this does not fit my format at all.
This is the only way we would ever play AC/DC too, right?
That's right. So I reached out to Kevin, and he said, absolutely, man, let's do it.
So I thought you were pranking us as well when I got your email that said, hey, check this out, because Brad shared this all with us. And sure enough, man, this is pretty cool. And so I thought what we would do is because today we just picked from, because there was a bunch of them, and I thought we just picked from the ones that we liked the most, or the ones that had just a cool story to them, because there were little notes with them. Some of them didn't have notes, and so we're not going to play any of those. But yeah, so we each picked 2. I think we're going to do 2 each and share it with the people and talk about, if they've heard these before. I don't know where, but from the notes we got, it doesn't sound like these have been shared with anyone before. And hopefully, the AC/DC team of lawyers doesn't come after us, but we'll see what happens. We'll see how long this episode stays up before it's pulled.
They don't know where we live.
There you go. There you go.
So, should we just get into this? Because, there's just some really cool stuff here. And who would have thought that there's anything that hasn't been released? I would just have assumed that they would have put out a box set. There was a box set, right? There was
a Bonfire. They put out that Bonfire box set, probably late 90s, early 2000s.
Were you not supposed to burn it? Oh, crap.
Son of a...
I thought
and
that
then
was
I think they had some other demo releases, I think, that they put out. But what's actually interesting, too, about this, Kevin, is so my senior year in high school, my brother studied abroad, and he was in
I studied several abroad myself.
And so he was in Madrid, and he befriended a guy that owned a record store. And when I came across some of these, my brother thought that he had maybe heard them. Some of the song titles sounded familiar to him. This guy would never let him take anything out of there, but he played the stuff in the record store.
Yeah, that's cool.
And some of the song titles sounded familiar to him. So it may be out there, but it's not out there.
Well, awesome. Well, why don't we kick off with you? I'll let you. So you picked a couple. We all picked a couple. So why don't you go first, Brad, since you're the guest here today?
Yeah, thank you. So I went with my first selection was titled High Decibels, which is right in the AC/DC vein. I'm surprised they didn't release something that had decibels in the title. There wasn't a ton of information about this one, but just based on the production, and when you guys hear it, and I think you'll agree with me, but it's got to be Powerage, Let There Be Rock era. The guitars just pop, and like I mentioned, that song title, man, it's got AC/DC written all over it.
Cool. We're going to listen to it. Do you have any idea why this was never released? Or are you thinking this is one that your brother heard?
It could have been because the decibel part was familiar to him, but no, it sounds like some of the other stuff on those albums, which like a lot of AC/DC.
I was going to say, let's be honest. AC/DC has put out the same album 25 times, or
different album art,
different cover,
same logo, different cover. Yeah,
that's right. All right. So, but check it out.
All right. Here's
a jam.
Here's some AC/DC from. Are we going to say like 78? Maybe we're thinking
77, 78 is what I would say.
All right, cool.
Bon Scott era.
High Decibels. Yep. Check it out.
That's the AC/DC that I know and love. I've always been more of a fan of the Bon Scott era. I like Brian Johnson, like Thunderstruck, all that stuff. But
is that your AC/DC, Robert? Bon Scott era?
Yeah. I don't know. It's just a little grittier. Back then, he was a lot drunker, so it was just more like.
Is that what you heard first? Did you hear Bon Scott
I heard
first?
Yeah, I heard that first. Yeah.
Okay. See, I'm the opposite. I heard Brian Johnson.
Really?
First.
No, I don't know. It can go either way, but for some reason, maybe I just want it that way.
In fact, I bought Who Made Who and Back in Black. I bought them on cassette the same day we were on beach trip. I think it was like, I don't know, like 8. I was like in 8th grade or 9th grade. We were on a beach trip. I took a friend with me. We went to the mall in Hilton Head or somewhere, and those are the 2 tapes that I bought. I bought 2 AC/DC tapes. Those were my first 2, and I didn't even know about Bon Scott. And I was like, because Who Made Who has one Bon Scott song on the end, which is Right On. And I was like, man, this sounds weird. Who is this guy?
Yeah.
But that was, dude, why? We're going to hear this all day long, but why was this not on an album?
Yeah, that's catchy as everything else that I've heard.
Yeah, it's interesting. The one thing, I mean, obviously a driving great riff. But one thing I noticed in it, the first chorus happens and they go into another verse. And instead of going to a chorus, it goes into a solo, which is a completely different type of arrangement that AC/DC's pretty much.
It didn't fit
first
the
chorus,
formula,
first chorus, first chorus.
Yeah.
Yeah. It didn't follow that a little bit. So maybe, I don't know, maybe when they listened to it back, they're just like, yeah, we tried that and it didn't work. So we're going to leave it off.
It's called editing, guys. You should try it.
That's no kidding. But yeah, love the track.
It's badass. It sounds, I mean, even the name, like a lot of these, all the names of the songs, it's like, it's so AC/DC, but I guess, that's just the way it is. They have a million of these things. So maybe one day, maybe this episode will get pulled by some amazing legal team. We'll see. We'll see what happens.
I think if it gets that big that they hear of us and it happens, I think we will wear that as a badge of honor.
We have listeners in Australia, and obviously so does Brad, so you never know, man.
Tattletales.
Yeah.
Nah, they're just going to drink and enjoy it. Okay, so the next song, Robert, is yours. So
yes. This one, the notes basically were 1990 and something about not good in the notes as it went through describing, hey, this song was meant for the Razor's Edge album. In 1990, what was very popular at that time was obviously metal, hair metal, craziness, wackiness. And so I don't know if they were trying to go a little bit in that direction, but it came off a little bit more of wanting to be more like Guns N' Roses. And I'm kind of glad they didn't put on the album because what they came out with was the big hit Thunderstruck, which was not hair metal. It was just back good old-fashioned AC/DC rock. And I remember that being a huge hit and brought them back on the map. And so Phil Rudd came back for that one.
No.
He didn't come back for that one?
No.
I thought that he came back for
that was Chris Slade. Chris Slade.
He must have he came back for after that then for the tour then, but I know he came back about that time. So it just kind of re-energized the band, and this song that was not on there, it just basically, I think they just realized, no, they were trying too hard to sound like another band that was popular at that time. Phil Rudd came back for the 1990 Razor's Edge?
Phil Rudd he came back in 95 for Ballbreaker.
Oh, it was later than that. Okay.
The Back in Black lineup, I think, was Ballbreaker.
It doesn't matter. So the song is titled Hey Kid, but like I said, I don't know if somebody else wrote this. It sounds like somebody else wrote this and gave it to the band. They tried it out thinking, I don't know what they were thinking, but like I said, they went back to the tried and true. Thunderstruck was the big hit off the album, and I'm glad because I remember even my cousin at the time, he was a triathlete, and every time he was running, he was listening to this song. It was just one of those motivational get up and go work out type songs. So it strikes me from during the middle of all the hair band heyday that I was getting tired of when this came out, it just reminded me of what good old fashioned rock and roll was.
Cool. Well, let's take a listen to it and we'll talk about it in a minute. This is Hey Kid, AC/DC, somewhere around 90 or
90-ish.
So.
Mama takes a fancy living.
Hear the hiss on that demo, man.
Yeah, that was not the final product, obviously. They cut and ran with that before they put too much money in it.
I totally expected him at the end where he's saying, "Hey, kid," to go, "Hey, kid," because it sounded like, what, Hell's Bells or something.
Yeah.
I was just like hearing that in my head, like the Hell's Bells ending. That was cool, man. It was they actually had a little breakdown in the middle.
Yeah.
You don't hear an AC/DC breakdown.
I think there was somebody else that had written that or had their finger on it, and they tried to get them to, basically record it and put it out. But I'm glad they didn't because,
Robert, you're spot on with the GNR. I mean, that opening riff sounded like GNR. The underlying riff during the chorus sounded like GNR to me.
Yeah, so and they were wildly popular at the time.
I get it.
And AC/DC before Razor's Edge came out, maybe they'd faded a little bit.
They had faded because they had what? They had Fly on the Wall. They had Flick of the Switch. Is that right?
Flip of the Switch.
Well, Fly on the Wall and Blow Up Your Video.
Blow Up Your Video as well. See, I like Blow Up Your Video, but a lot of people don't really care for that one as much. I really like that album.
It was it came and went really quickly. But
they did. That was when they were lumped in with the hair bands, even though that was a scene that they helped influence.
They were their own scene.
Yeah, they were their own thing. That was cool, man. I kind of get why it didn't come out on that album because, one, that was Brian Johnson almost sounding more like his predecessor than himself in a way. And if I remember right, Razor's Edge, man, the rest of the album, he's like super nasally in that one.
Mm-hmm. Yes. Yep. Agreed.
I haven't listened to that album in a long time. Not my favorite album.
No, like I said, other than Thunderstruck, I don't.
That's a great single.
I don't usually listen to the whole album. I'll pull up that song and that's it. It's as good as Caffeine.
Well, I'm glad you picked that one because I listened to it, but I did not pick that one. So I'm glad you picked that one.
Yeah, I got another one though. It's even better.
All right,
I'll redeem myself in the next one.
All right, so I did pick this next one, and I wanted to pick something from the Highway to Hell sessions because that's my favorite Bond album, as is most people. So I'm very common with that. But this is a demo from Highway to Hell, and you can tell it's a demo when I play it because just like the last song, there's a lot of hiss on it. But this is the only song, and Brad, you'll correct me because you are the AC/DC guy, you and your brother. But this is the only song that I can ever remember AC/DC having a bit of a talk box effect in it.
Absolutely.
They never had that, right? Any other thing?
No. Yeah. But, that talk box was big in the 70s, so they maybe wanted to dabble in it, and they tried it, and it's demonstrated on this song.
So it might have something to do with the reason you've never heard this. If you don't know, Highway to Hell was produced by Mutt Lange, so Mutt may have taken that out in the final version.
Mutt Lange.
Robert Mutt Lange. Sorry, Robert.
Thank you.
Pepe.
Pepe.
Now, the reason I chose this was the note on this was, it was the reason. The song is great, but this note is what put it over the top. So this is the only song, according to the notes, this is the only song that Angus ever played something other than his SG on.
Ooh.
He played a BC Rich guitar on this song. So apparently what was happening was, at that time in the late 70s, you had this California-style Mockingbird guitar that Joe Perry from Aerosmith, Lita Ford from the Runaways, they were starting to play these BC Riches, and it was a California guitar, had a different sound, and that would be the crazy shapes that you saw in the 80s, but in the 70s they basically had a few models, and the Mockingbird was the one that he played on this. And so he tried it out on this demo. And the other thing that I thought was interesting is, if you listen to the lead in this song, he is obviously not playing his standard Angus Young style lead. He is actually showing what he can do on a California guitar. He's playing a little Van Halen like lead, which is weird. So probably didn't fit in. And what happened was he abandoned this because he never played this guitar again. He went back to that Gibson SG, and that's what you know him for. So I'm sure Mutt Lange had something to do with the reason this didn't show up. But the other thing that I thought was cool is the song title alone of this song. So another band that we like that's, featuring a couple of guys from New York. What's their name? Kiss! Yes, they also had a song title, the same song title, later in the 80s. Coincidence? I don't know. But here's AC/DC's.
There are no coincidences with Gene Simmons. He will plagiarize anything.
Here's AC/DC's version of All Night, Highway to Hell Sessions, 1979.
Cadillac black, you can't risk it.
Yeah, you could definitely tell that was Angus, but I don't know. He was
never heard Angus like that.
Off in another world in that one.
He was obviously listening to a little Van Halen.
Yeah, maybe. He just stretching his fingers out a little bit. You play the same 4 riffs for 15 years. You want to branch out a little bit, I guess.
I've never had one of these whammy bars before. Let me try that thing.
What does that do? Oh, wow.
Speaking of Kiss, Kevin, was that opening lyric "Flaming Youth"? I think he said "Flaming Youth" was the first, but there weren't a lot of lyrics with these songs, at least that I could find. So, but I think that's what he said.
Could be. That was your Kiss connection with a K.
There you go.
There you go. What'd you think, Brad?
Yeah, no, killer intro. Into that riff. And again, I'm a sucker for a call and response vocal with the riff during the verse. Just awesome. Kind of subtle backing vocals with some harmony in there. For AC/DC, which might have also played a part in why they didn't end up releasing it. But yeah, and the talk box that you talked about, it was subtle. It was there, but it was subtle.
It was way in the background.
70s.
I mean, it is a demo too. So
exactly, exactly.
Who knows what Mutt would have done with it? But obviously, Mutt said, "No way, not going on my highway to hell." So
yeah, cool song.
Brad, it's your go. Your second pick.
I am up. So the aforementioned Blow Up Your Videos. We're going to kind of go back to that era. So that's actually the first time I saw AC/DC was in support of that album.
Never seen AC/DC. I'm just going to say this. One of the bands I have never seen. One of the major bands I have never ever seen.
We missed him here in Atlanta with Axl.
Oh, that's pretty good. I actually saw, my brother and I saw that. Detroit was one of the shows with Axl. We saw him at Ford Field when they were doing the football stadium run. And then we saw him about a year later. What
was your opinion of Axl?
Well, I thought some of the songs that they pulled out, if you've seen those set lists.
Yeah.
Shit. I mean, they play. I thought he was great, and I thought he knew his place. He did not try to steal the show.
A lot of people said that.
He hung out back, kind of like, with Stevie and Cliff, back by the back line during, unless he was singing, he was back there, which was awesome. And I thought he sounded good. They screwed up. They screwed up one song, and it was Rock and Roll Train. It was a newer song that maybe Axl didn't quite know because he kind of missed his cue, and we both noticed that. But other than that, I thought it was pretty cool to see, actually.
Interesting. All right. Sorry, I derailed you again. Sorry. Go ahead.
Yeah, no worries. So again, first time I saw him on tour. So this album, came out in 88, 10 songs. I have read that they recorded 16 tracks for this album. I can account for 5 in the public, which leaves one more. So the song Snake Eye was on the 12-inch single of Heat Seeker. Borrowed Time, which my brother actually bought the single for That's the Way I Want to Rock and Roll, and that was the B-side.
I love that song.
That's a great song. Great song. Down on the Borderline, B-side of the Australian Money Talks single, which was then a couple years later. And then Let It Loose and All Right Tonight were the other 2, which would be 5 additional ones, which showed up on a demo type release that they put out in the 2000s. So that's 15 songs. They said they recorded 16. Well, we got the 16th.
So this is your little treasure trove that you found in the list, huh?
Treasure trove from the list. So a little bit of information, on this. This is the first and only one that I can think of that was only credited to one of the Youngs and Brian Johnson. So my guess is that Angus and Brian wrote this because this was the time when Malcolm took a hiatus. So when I saw AC/DC live, Stevie Young was playing.
That's right.
Because of the alcoholism that Malcolm had. So I'm thinking that they wrote it kind of about him, and it's aptly titled Medicine.
All right. Well, let's check it out. Here is AC/DC with Medicine from, we're going to call it 88, 87, somewhere around there.
Yeah.
good old standby chords they always use.
I mean,
G to A-D.
If you remember from that time, 88, 89 is when CDs started kind of popping and people were starting to make longer albums. I think about Kiss's Hot in the Shade.
songs on it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Super long. Like, they could have made this album longer and just put all these songs on it.
Yeah, you don't have to cut as much as you did when you had the albums. You only had a certain amount of spirals.
But that was a thing. Like, every band, the late 80s, early 90s, all of a sudden your normal LP went to a double by LP standards. But, compact disc, it was like no big deal. We'll just make it longer.
Yeah, just cram it all in there.
And we'll put some extra tracks at the end or whatever.
Hidden tracks.
So, yeah, I'm with you, Kevin. I'm a fan of that album. It gets shit for having too much filler.
It does. I think it's great.
It is great. And again, it's got a special place because it was the first time I saw them. So, that type of thing. But I think there's some killer songs on there. But that song, I can't believe that didn't make it on there.
Yeah,
that song's killer to me.
As great as That's the Way I Want to Rock and Roll, I mean, that was a great single. But this song could have just been the next single. Like, I don't,
I don't know the difference between them.
Exactly. But the production, I mean, that's right out of 88.
Oh, yeah. Big drums.
I mean, that snare drum.
Big drums.
That sounds like it's hitting a booming bag.
Yeah, booming
bag.
They used to take the noise gate in the 80s and they would basically compress everything so you would cut off any resonance. So it was like... You just get that major hit, right. And then the noise gate would cut everything off, and that was a Prince and a Tom Petty thing. That's where that's where that came from.
I will listen to that now.
Look for every band did it.
Every band did it.
Is that super noise gated drums? So you just get.
Oh yeah, well I remember the rototoms and things like that.
Like no resonance whatsoever. Drums actually ring.
Yeah,
as we know from Lars's experiment, he goes ding ding. Anyway, So Robert, you were up, sir.
All right, my second one.
Surprised. I'm just gonna say I'm surprised you chose this one because I saw the song title. I'm like, huh? Well, explain.
Yeah, it is a known AC/DC song, except it is sung by a non-AC/DC member,
Axl Rose.
Well, okay.
Seen it, done that.
Did they record with him though?
No.
Okay, so this is a recorded song, but it only had two notes on it. It had the date 1980, and it had the name Scott. And I thought, okay, Bon Scott, but wait a minute. No, he was dead by then. So listen to it, and there's a kid singing. And so quickly did a Wikipedia search on the band members, and Brian Johnson's, his son was born in 1972, and around 1980, he would have been about 8 years old. So it sounds about like an 8 or 9 year old singing this song. And so I'm just guessing that they were in the studio, and he was there with them, and they let him sing. And so it's the band, but it's with Brian Johnson's son, Scott. No relation to Bon Scott, but they didn't really know each other at that time.
Scott Johnson.
Yeah, Scott Johnson. So
interesting.
Yeah.
The new guy. They let the new guy's kid get on the mic.
Yeah, the new guy's kid get on the mic, and they recorded it. And like I said, it sounds damn good, but because it was in a really nice recording studio. But obviously this is not meant for public consumption. And so it just Until now we are debuting it, debudding it.
All right. Well, tell the people what this song is, because they know it.
It's called Shoot to Thrill, and you will recognize it right off the bat, except for the singer. So imagine you're 8 or 9 years old, they put you in a microphone booth and go, all right, hit it. And you just let it rip. And they're going to think, okay, he's going to be all cute and everything. No, he lets it rip and nails this song like you wouldn't believe. So you can see apple did not fall far from the tree. Let's just put it that way.
Awesome. I actually didn't listen to this one because I thought I already know this song, but I'm glad you pointed that out. So
it's a different way to see a song now.
Awesome. Here we go. Shoot to Thrill, AC/DC with a different singer.
not bad for 8 or 9-year-old.
That kid has some pipes.
Yes, before he had nads.
Why did he not take over instead of Axl Rose? Well, I guess they weren't really in good standing with Brian Johnson then, maybe.
Yeah, maybe not.
Correct. Never get tired of that song though, man. God, I've heard it 1,000 times.
It's just nice to hear it in a fresh way like that.
You can tell it's a demo still. Like, you can tell it's not completely produced.
No, they were just goofing off at that point. I'm sure the band was on break. They'd already recorded that, and they're like, "Hey, while they're out to lunch, let's."
It almost sounds like it's only Angus or only Malcolm. I don't know, but it was killer.
One guitar.
Yeah, absolutely.
So if Back in Black would have been released, in this day and age, that would have been a bonus track.
There you go.
Interesting.
It still could be. They just haven't done it yet.
They haven't done it yet.
Maybe they don't have these tapes because your buddy had them.
Maybe they're looking for them right now. Damn it! They were right over here on the shelf.
No, I gave them to these podcasters
in Atlanta.
All right, so I got one more for everyone here, and I chose this one again because of the song title, because it is such a Bon Scott song title, and I knew it had to be a Bon song, and it was. And this is a song that was recorded, obviously, for the Dirty Deeds album in 1976, which I was always confused by Dirty Deeds because it contains songs that appeared elsewhere, and I didn't know if it was a compilation, but that's just sort of how the international version was. So this actual song features the lineup that was on that album in 1976, and what it said in the notes was that George Young actually played bass on this, and he also played on There's Gonna Be Some Rockin' off of that same album.
How many Youngs are there?
There's a whole bunch of Youngs, apparently.
Lots of Youngs. Lots and lots of Youngs.
So anyway, there are various versions of this album, Dirty Deeds Done Dirt Cheap, and I had to look that up because I always wondered. I thought it was kind of a bit of a compilation or thrown together. So there's a 9-song Australian version, and it features 2 songs which did not appear on the international US version. And those 2 songs are, one of them's called R.I.P., Rock and Peace, and the other one's called Jailbreak. Mm-hmm. So that was on the original Dirty Deeds album. However, when we got our hands on it in the States and elsewhere, they replaced those 2 songs with Love at First Feel and Rocker. Now, Rocker was on an earlier version, I guess, in Australia of one of their first singles, so that's why it wasn't included. And then Jailbreak, we didn't get. I never heard Jailbreak until much later. That Jailbreak came out as an EP in 1984, which had Jailbreak as the single on it, and they had a video and everything for it. And then the rest of the songs were from outtakes from a different album in the 70s.
That's probably one of my favorite AC/DC songs. There's something about
Jailbreak.
That. You made it out. The bullet is back.
But
that song live, I think they did it on that Blow Up Your Video tour. Oh, yeah. Of course, I think it was part of that might have been part of the striptease at that point too.
Yeah, so I don't need to see Brian Johnson do that again.
No.
Brian in a thong. Yeah.
Yeah, so Jailbreak, again, for me, one of my favorite songs as well. And here's another song that was not on either album. I mean, you got a 9-song album. You could have made a 10-song album. But this one, if they didn't release Jailbreak in the States and internationally until 1984, you would have thought they would have snuck this one in as well, but they did not. So the other thing that was written, and the reason it didn't get released, is basically Bon Scott hated this song. It said Bon hated this. He felt it sounded totally generic, even for them, and he would take this one to his grave. Now, when he wrote that, I'm sure he didn't realize how soon that was.
That soon. He meant like down the road somewhere.
But so
2 months later,
we're going to play a song that's never been released because Bon hated it. But here is a song from the Dirty Deeds sessions, 1976. It's called Even the Sun Goes Down on Me. don't know what's not to like.
I mean,
but
if there were other options out there that he thought were a lot better, I can understand that. But overall, I didn't think it was bad.
No, you know who it sounded like? AC/DC.
Yeah, it sounded like AC/DC. Jackal wishes they sounded like AC/DC. Because I was thinking they ripped off their sound and they ripped off those lyrics. Sun going down on me. Now, I wonder.
Somebody's heard it
before.
Yeah.
Well, there's another interesting tie-in, I think, to this song. So that riff, kind of that opening riff, sounds like Face the Day, which is actually in the Angels song. Great White covered it in the mid-'80s.
Another Australian band.
An Australian band. So I wonder if they might have heard it kind of in the late 70s somehow.
Played it at a party sometime.
Yeah. Maybe. Who knows? But I mean, Sleaze Bon. I mean, this is Sleazy Bon during the verse. I mean, some of those lyrics. Backseat Cruise. I mean, come on. That's...
maybe George was like, guys, you're a little too close. And maybe that's why it was said it's too generic for them even. So
maybe,
you've got Rose Tattoo out there as well at the same time. You've got the Angels.
Exactly.
So
yeah,
maybe they made that call because of that.
But cool song. Definitely.
So there are more, but we just wanted to do 6, and I think everybody picked some really cool selections. Brad, thank you so much for bringing this to you.
Yes,
and
bring it to us.
Bringing it, did I say that? I said bringing it to you.
Yeah,
didn't I?
Yeah, but
that doesn't even make sense.
They brought it to him.
They brought it to
He
you.
brought it to us.
Right.
You see how that works?
Yes.
It's amazing. The world is just
this is like math. I
give
can't
and take.
do it.
It's just this symbiotic relationship we have with all these friends of ours.
Anyway,
This
is the only way.
It fit way better on your show than ours.
Yeah, exactly. This is the only way we would play AC/DC too.
So if anybody else out there has bootleg stuff of bands that we should know about,
that's the only way you'll get them on here.
I'll give you my phone number in just a minute. We'll just write that. Get a pencil. I give you the number at the end of the show.
If you're in Germany and you're listening to Brad's show,
you've got some,
and now you're listening to this show, if you have bootleg
Accept
Scorpions or accept stuff, send it our way and it'll get played.
The demo of Balls to the Wall.
Without the... the sound is just always gross to me.
That's terrible.
I thought that was a spray paint can.
I don't know what it was, but it always grossed me out.
In the middle of that,
because whenever I hear that, I always picture the album cover, and I'm like, he's drinking a ball.
Yeah.
Ew.
Enough of that. Brad, why don't you give the listeners the details on Slamfest? Where can we hear it and what's coming up and all that kind of stuff?
What radio station are you on?
Yeah.
What radio station? Yeah. So, Slamfest Podcast releases generally every Thursday mornings. And sometimes when I see a real-time show, I might need an extra day to release it. But so I think the most recent, when this comes out, actually, I think there'll be a Funny Money episode, which, Kevin, I should have had you on.
Funny
they're
Money.
Kind of an obscure band. That's
in our wheelhouse.
Is that an Eddie Money cover band?
That's your. Yeah, I actually had Steve Wright from the Potter Than Hell podcast on.
Oh, that guy! I see how you doing. I see how you're doing.
Being from Pennsylvania, he never saw them, but he had some of their albums back in the day, and I heard him talk about them, and so I thought, hey, I'll get Steve on there. So I saw them a bunch of times when I was living in Baltimore. So that's probably our most recent episode that'll drop. But we're Apple Podcasts, Stitcher. We can be found pretty much anywhere. So check us out.
Absolutely. Slamfest Podcast. Anything else that you want to share with the listeners before we leave?
April Fools.
So which song are we playing?
You said the other one, which was the Johnny Crash.
Oh, no, I meant the Shoot to Thrill. But
that's what I was getting into the first time.
Well, how could it be 1980? It was sung by a girl.
It was his son. If you listen to my fucking story.
Oh.
God damn it.